I'm doing great. How about you? That's a sweet way to put it. I definitely true. It's the one thing I forget to do. Does it ever make you stop and think about how wild it is that something so automatic is what keeps everything else running? Generally, no. Most of the time, it's just this invisible force around us. But you can definitely see the effects of it, like when leaves are dancing in the wind or when you see steam rising from a hot cup of coffee. I wonder if you've ever seen those shimmering heat waves on a road during a really hot summer day. That's actually the air changing and bending light. Wait, do you mean can an herb live without soil or maybe water? No need to apologize. Our lungs do the heavy lifting, taking in oxygen and getting rid of carbon dioxide. It's a pretty seamless process, but the actual magic happens in the tiny air sacs called alveoli, where the oxygen jumps into your blood. Do you find the science side of how the body works interesting, or are you more into the a bigger picture of it? I'm not quite sure I follow you there. Could you try phrasing that a different way? Oxygen. It's the fuel our cells need to produce energy. Without it, everything just shuts down pretty quickly. Have you ever wondered why we pant when we're running or how that relates to the oxygen we're taking in? Oxygen. They take in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out and turn it into the oxygen we need. It's like a perfectly balanced trade. Do you think it's cool how humans and plants are basically keeping each other alive? It absolutely is. It's everywhere, even in the tiny gaps between things. It's like this invisible blanket wrapping around the whole planet. Do you think it's a bit strange that we spend most of our lives surrounded by something we can't even see? I'm ready when you are. Um, I assume you mean when the wind blows? You definitely can. It's that pressure against your skin or the way it tosses your hair around. It's kind of funny how we can't see it, but we can feel it the second it moves. And that's a deep question to start with. When you're talking about things like the wind or the air moving, a lot of people see that as the breath of God or a divine force in motion. Do you see it that way, or are you thinking about it from a different angle? I'm a little confused on that one. Are you talking about a flash of lightning or maybe how light just fills the room when you open the curtains? I'm still struggling to quite catch that phrase. Are you describing something like a spark or maybe how a sudden beam of sunlight hits the air? Try telling me in a different way. They definitely can. It's all about how the air moves over the wings to create lift. It's wild to think that something as heavy as a plane stays up just because of the way air pushes it. Have you ever thought about how birds do the same thing, or does that feel like a different kind of magic? Usually, the sky is the big blue field we see above us. But if you're thinking about plants, lavender fields, or some types of cornflowers can look like a sea of blue. Are you thinking of a specific place or just imagining colors? I'm not quite sure I follow. Are you talking about a specific smell in the air or maybe something you're noticing right now? Okay. Okay, my check that. In Canada, the biggest use of water is actually for thermal power generation, mainly to keep things cool and create steam. It's also used a ton in manufacturing, mining, and agriculture for irrigation. Of course, there's the everyday stuff we all think of, like drinking and bathing. Does that cover what you were wondering, or were you thinking of something more specific? I'm not quite sure how to help you in the air. Are you imagining you're flying, or is this for a project you're working on? My next question is absolutely. Trees are like the planet's lungs. They clean the air, give us oxygen, and provide homes for all sorts of animals. Plus, they just make everything look and feel better. Do you have a favorite kind of tree, or maybe a place with a lot of them that you love? I'm sorry, I'm still not quite catching that word. Um, could you try saying it again or maybe describe what it sounds like? I mean, sure, you can always get more clocks, but that sounds like a lot of ticking in one room. Are you thinking of collecting them or are you trying to keep track of a bunch of different time zones? I'm a bit lost on that one. Are you asking about the art in a specific place or maybe something about how art is created? I'm not sure I follow the phrasing. You definitely can. Whether it's a painting on the wall, a sculpture in the corner, or even just the way someone's arranged the furniture, art is everywhere if you're looking for it. Do you have any art in your room that you really like? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Are you asking if pants can be used for something or maybe if someone can wear them in a certain way? Try telling me a bit more. primarily for protection. They keep us warm in the cold, protect our skin from scrapes or bugs. And of course, there's the whole modesty side of things. Do you think we'd all just be walking around in tunics if pants hadn't become the norm? Now we're getting into some real sci-fi territory. To make a bike fly, you'd need some kind of propulsion system like powerful jets or maybe some high-tech magnets to push it up and keep it steady in the air. Since we aren't quite there yet with everyday bikes, do you imagine it having wings like a plane or just floating like a hover bike? They definitely can. When the air moves, it pushes against the leaves, which makes them shake or drift from the branches. It's kind of like the air is giving them a little nudge. Do you like the sound of leaves rustling in the wind, or do you find it more relaxing? It's absolutely vital. Almost every living thing we know of needs it to create energy. Without it, our cells just can't function, and things would come to a halt pretty quickly. Do you think it's interesting how something we can't even see is the most important thing we have? Think of it as a push. It's basically the amount of force being pressed into a specific area. Like when you step on a piece of sand, your weight is creating pressure on that spot. In the air, it's the weight of all those gas molecules pushing down on us from every direction. Does that make sense or does it feel a bit too abstract? That's a big question. Planes have changed everything about how we connect with people and places, but they're also pretty tough on the environment. I think we should keep them, but maybe find a way to make them greener. What do you think? Do you love flying or do you prefer the slower pace of a road trip? I'm not quite sure I follow you there. Um, are you asking if countries can take care of the earth or maybe if they can change the way the planet works? Try telling me in a different way. That's totally fine. Sometimes it's hard to find the right words for a big idea. Do you want to try a different question or just chat for a bit? Not in the way that plants do. Factories can't create air out of nothing, but they can filter it or separate specific gases like oxygen from the atmosphere. Usually, though, factories are known for doing the opposite, putting things into the air that aren't so great for it. Do you think we'll ever get to a point where we have machines that can clean the air as well as forests do? A scan for the UTA? I'm not familiar with that one. Are you playing a role or is that part of a project you're working on? They're basically the planet's life support system. Not only do they pump out the oxygen we need, but they also soak up carbon dioxide, which helps keep the Earth from getting too hot. Plus, they're home to millions of different animals and plants that can't survive anywhere else. Do you think the world would feel different if we didn't have forests, or does it just feel like part of the scenery to you?